Welcome to another episode of This Goose is Cooked, where we review books intended for our future generations. Today's book, Builders and Breakers, by Steve Light, published by Candlewick Press. Building and busting shit up. I'm absolutely taken with this book. Steve Light has a hidden gem here. This is definitely a book to grab for your collection. You can have it up on your shelf and point to it when your friends come over and say, "Yeah, I read that." It's one of those books that will make your friends think your IQ is way higher than what it really is. Steve, with his succinct writing and imaginative pictures that sometimes stretch end to end on the book, gets the reader interested in a multitude of jobs that go along with constructing a city. This tome opens on two construction workers putting together the frame of a building, and states, I quote, "Builders build. You bet yo ass they do. And it looks pretty damn fun, too." On the very next page, you see two more construction workers with sledgehammers demolishing a brick wall from an old building. And the book states, I quote, "Breakers break. You bet yo ass they do. And that looks even more fun." I just gave you the whole plot of the book right there. Builders build and breakers break. But it doesn't just stop on these few pages. Steve dives in deeper. On the next few pages, Steve explains with one word on each page the different aspects of building and what builders do. He shows the frame of the building from farther out and all the equipment and materials. He shows the builder and what they look like. And then he shows the complexity of a construction site. Next, he breaks down the breakers. He shows what they look like, and then what a demolition site might look like, and the various equipment used. Steve ties it back together by showing the builders using hammers, and the breakers using a jackhammer, and he makes a nice transition into all the equipment they use. He shows a massive picture on both of the next two pages of a digger digging deep into the earth. He shows a welder doing his thing with sparks flying. After seeing that, I don't know who wouldn't want to learn how to weld. He uses both pages again to show cranes at work on a massive building that all these jobs and tools are constructing. Then in a very strange twist, you see two children at the construction site, looking around, with a digger behind them ready to come down on top of them. Doesn't seem like a very safe place for kids, but maybe Steve wanted to pick up the excitement a bit by making the reader wonder if these kids are going to get hurt. It turns out the kids are looking for their dad. It must have been take your kid to work day or something, but Dad doesn't seem to care that his kids were wandering aimlessly around a construction site. He even brings them up on a steel girder with him, and the book ends on, I quote, "After build time, ... comes break time." You bet yo ass it does. And that looks well deserved. And you can see the kids having lunch with their dad. I have to admit that that's a good ending. I see too many books take the easy way out and reference something about going to sleep. The author leaves notes at the end of the book talking about the symbiotic nature between builders and breakers. They say a good sign of intelligence is the ability to explain something complex in a simple way that everyone can understand. If that's the case, then Steve Light is a genius. He was able to explain everything that is involved on a construction site, with little more than a word or two on each page. The pictures also allowed the reader to immerse themselves in the book, and inspire thoughts about what structures can be constructed. Now comes the book rating. On a scale from 1 to 5, I'm going to give this book a 4.7. I'll have the full bird, and I'm going to have some of the trimmings too. This goose is cooked. Join us next time for another in-depth book review.